There have been some changes on Dillon Road in the town of Mamaroneck.
Snow removal costs have affected municipal budgets. I'll have the details.
The Grand Union Supermarket in Larchmont is not replaced with another food center.
Clubs along the waterfront in the village of Mamaroneck are restricted by a moratorium.
I-95 tragedy takes on a new twist in court, and vacation time for our school children gets cut off by snow. Those stories and more coming up right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News Show for the last week of March 2001. I'm Sven Oheme.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story. The results are in and there are no recounts required in Larchmont Village Board's trustee race. Republican trustee Kenneth Bialo and his running mate Chris Verney were elected to the 2 village board seats last week. Bialo, who secured 950 votes, was the incumbent, having served since 1991. Verney captured 750 votes and filled the position left by retired board member Marianne Muma, who decided not to run for re-election. Democratic hopefuls Tom Stewart and Lauren Gottfried received 679 and 636 votes, respectively. The trustees served two-year terms and are unpaid. Among the major issues facing the candidates for this election, sprucing up the downtown business district was high on the list. It is also important to note that Republican Thea Beaver, who also ran with Democratic endorsement, was re-elected to her second 4-year term as village justice.
Rhonda Lustman, president of the Mamaroneck School Board, dropped by our studio to discuss this year's budget. Here with the interview is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger.
Well, welcome, Rhonda. Thank you for coming by and to give us some information about this, the superintendent's recommended budget.
Yes.
And it is $71,153,000.
That's correct. That is the number that the board is considering now. What that represents a tax rate increase of 5.75%.
So it's under 6%.
It's under 6%. The board has worked very hard to keep our budget under 6% for the last more than 5 years now.
So last year it was under 6% as well?
Yeah, that's right. And we do work very hard to try to achieve that every year.
Now, where's the money going to be allocated? There's 6 schools.
There are 6 schools. We have a number of new teaching positions throughout the district. Next year, we're very excited. Our Hummocks is going to be going to its house plan, its 3-house plan that we've been planning for a long time. Even though the new building isn't completed, we're going to do that. And we have added some teachers so that each team is a complete team. And we are going to be adding some an ESL teacher over at Mamaroneck Avenue because
English
is a second language.
I
yes,
see.
Which is a need that we have over at that, particularly at that school.
So the numbers are increasing for children that have English as a second language.
Yes.
And you will be increasing that.
We're responding to that.
Mm-hmm.
We are working to have we're making a change in our co-op camp that we run every year.
In the summer?
In the summer.
Okay.
That we're going to be having some academic time at that camp so that the children in that camp will have some chance to review and keep up with the work that they've done both in literacy and math over the summer. So hopefully they'll come back to school ready to start in, not having forgotten things over the summer. And we're going to be using a lot of our new staff, our new teachers that we're going to be hiring this year. We have a number of open positions, and we've already started hiring our new teachers. And
so everyone will be learning and having fun this summer there.
that's right.
And now, is that completely funded by the school budget, or is that also funded by the town also?
I believe the town makes some contribution to that.
Okay. What about the, what is it, the Title I funding?
Yes, part of this budget makes up for some loss in Title I funding that we had last year that we are getting less of this year. While we have to maintain the same number of teachers and we have the number of students that we need to cover by that program, we don't have as much money, so that part of our budget is to cover those positions.
Okay. Now, were there any open items for discussion?
Yes, the board is still discussing some recommendations. One is to reduce the kindergarten class size. It's currently 25 students in a kindergarten class is the maximum class size. The recommendation is to reduce that to 22. And there's also some discussion about the administrative configuration at Mamaroneck Avenue School, what we want to do, whether we're going to keep that the same or make some changes in it. And there's a recommendation to start a junior varsity hockey team, which we don't currently have.
So it goes from what grade to from 6th grade, and then the varsity is...
There's a 2-year gap now between
gap?
the town, where the town program ends and where the varsity program picks up. So for some kids, it means that they really they don't have a program available to them for those 2 years, and so we want to keep those kids going.
Okay. Now, I have to tell you, when I heard $71,153,000, I thought, gee, that's an awful lot of money for... We have 6 schools. Now, I thought, you know, I think of this as a small community, but in actuality, you said that we're one of the largest...
Yes, it's interesting. A lot of people, I think, because the scale of our communities are small, people do think that they're small, but the school district is actually among the larger school districts in Westchester County, and we're projecting having 4,650 students next year.
And what about the staff? How many teachers do you expect to have?
I don't know. We have a staff of, I think, over 700.
That's a large staff, too.
It's a large, well, that's not all teaching staff, but our entire staff. But, you know, as our population increases, it also increases our needs for counselors, for psychologists. There's a lot of other staff positions besides teaching, professional positions that we also have to look at and make sure we have enough.
And that's why it takes a lot of money to run.
Yes.
And also, but you're trying to keep the tax also under 6%.
That's right. We feel that that's a reasonable increase, and it's a much lower increase than many of the other districts in Westchester.
And the effect on the curriculum will be a positive one, I would think, because you're going to increase staff and other programs.
And exactly, and we have new requirements now at the high school. We have are now Regents High School, which we weren't before, which is requiring us to spend some extra money and help those students be prepared to take a lot of students who didn't take them before to take the Regents.
Now they'll be required to take the Regents, so
yes,
their money will be go towards preparing the students for that as well.
That's right.
Well, that's a big plus.
It's very good.
And they'll be happy to hear that they'll be receiving some help in that area. Now, the budget vote is on the 27th?
No, well,
no, that's
we have a meeting. We have a budget meeting at
on
the Post Road Conference Center to discuss the budget on the 27th. We plan on April 3rd to vote to adopt a budget. That budget will be available. That copy of that budget will be our final budget. It will be available in the different school buildings on April 24th. And May 9th is our voters' registration day, so if anybody is not registered to vote, that is the day when they can come to the schools or come to the central administrative office and register to vote.
So if you're a registered voter, then you can vote. You don't have to worry about...
If you're registered in the general elections, you can all vote in the school elections. It's only if you aren't registered at all that you would have to register to vote in this election.
Okay.
And the vote itself is on May 15th from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay, now people
at
have
the individual schools.
Okay, now people also have to keep in mind that this is a proposed amount, proposed budget, and with open items it could increase. So if someone hears that later on at the end, well, I thought it was only 71, there's a possibility that it could...
There's a possibility of some increase, but as I say, we work very hard to keep the budget at an under 6% tax rate increase.
That was going to be my last question is, you will try to maintain that on 6%, to keep it under the 6% increase in the taxes.
We think that's the responsible way to deal with this.
The Mamaroneck Village Board has approved a 90-day moratorium on development at the 3 waterfront clubs on village territory. The current developments were set in motion when Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club proposed to expand its clubhouse capacity from 437 to 736 people. The Zoning Board of Appeals rejected the plan in November. The Zoning Board said in November that the proposed expansion would make the club a catering facility. The decision was appealed in Westchester Supreme Court, where it is pending. A scaled-down proposal is pending before the Planning Board right now. The moratorium would stop the process for the 90-day period, even if the court should rule in favor of the club. No permits will be issued by the village until June 20th, when the moratorium expires. In the meantime, the village will draft changes to its zoning laws that are to clearly define land use in the marine recreation zone.
This winter's weather has affected school vacation schedules in our local school districts. School days used in case of snow emergencies are designated in each of the school's calendars at the beginning of the year. However, if allotted days are not used up during the winter season, students get the days off as holidays. It appears that Mamaroneck School District will now have school on Friday, May 25th, before the Memorial Day weekend. The decision to close schools for inclement weather is not made lightly, but with the careful consideration of many factors. Mamaroneck has used one more day than was built into the calendar, and that is why the adjustment has been made to make the 25th of May a school day. If any more time is taken for weather emergencies, May 29th and April 6th are next to go. With families and faculty planning vacation, let's hope that extreme weather steers clear of our area.
Speaking of snow, this winter's snowstorms have drained the budgets of communities in our area. In Larchmont, exact numbers are not in yet, but Joseph Bedard, Larchmont Superintendent of Public Works, told the Times that the village had about $40,000 set aside for overtime expenses, rock salt and sand for 2001. But the village has already spent $50,000 and the rock salt supply needs to be replenished for the next season. And this is likely to add another $10,000 to the budget. In Mamaroneck Village, manager Mike Blau expects to spend $25,000 more than budgeted. In the town, administrator Stephen Altieri expects to come very close to the amount of $133,000 that he has budgeted for snow removal, including overtime costs, salt and sand.
Well, 2 weeks ago, we reported that Grand Union Supermarket in the village of Larchmont was on its way out. Many residents in the area hoped a white knight would come to the rescue and save the community food store, but now that doesn't seem to be the case. Here to tell us who is moving in is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
CVS, which employs over 97,000 people in 27 states and Washington, D.C., has decided to take over the space on Chatsworth Avenue, where the Grand Union has been for 48 years. Most of the former Grand Union supermarkets acquired by C&S Wholesale Grocers Incorporated will remain grocery retailers. The employees of Larchmont Grand Union have supported the company and were led to believe they would be fine, said Mary D'Onofrio, a spokesperson for the store's management. CVS has not yet committed to rehiring the 30 employees of Grand Union. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Paul Noto, former mayor of Mamaroneck Village, today the minority leader of the Westchester Board of Legislators, announced earlier this month that he would not seek re-election to the board in November. Noto, a Republican who was first elected to the board in 1993, said that he would take a sabbatical and spend more time with his family and also devote more time to his law practice. Noto told the Journal News, quote, "We are citizen legislators and it is always good to take a step back and refocus on the things that are important in your life." End of quote. We plan to talk to Paul Noto on one of our upcoming programs. CHI, or Concerned Citizens for Harbor Island, is a newly formed group of residents with big ideas for Harbor Island Park. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin.
Mamaroneck Village Mayor Debbie Chapin has been asking for residents to come forward with ideas for Harbor Island Park, and people are beginning to respond. The latest group of residents have even begun to organize among themselves. They call their group Concerned Citizens for Harbor Island, or CCHI for short. They even have an email address, harborpark@aol.com, for people who want more information about what CCHI is all about. The group advocates a moratorium on any construction in the park until a master plan can be finalized and voted on by the Mamaroneck Village Board. This includes the new spray ground and the new multi-sport facility. The sport facility that was approved by the board last year is currently being held up in litigation. The Concerned Citizens for Harbor Island group also want to formulate a plan of action for cleaning up the rivers that lead into the harbor. Currently, Village Manager Michael Blau has engineers inspecting storm drainage systems and sewage lines along the Sheldrake and Mamaroneck rivers. The engineers are looking for clues to help them determine who and what is responsible for the dangerously high levels of bacteria in the harbor. Now, this past summer, residents may remember that swimming wasn't allowed due to pollution from the sewage treatment plant and contaminants that were washed in from the rivers. There were also fuel spills from the surrounding boatyards. The village of Mamaroneck has never really had a problem with people coming up with ideas for what's best for Harbor Island. In the past, residents have suggested a miniature golf course, a pool, handball courts, a band shell, picnic areas, skating and skateboard rinks, just to name a few. The ideas are there. It's time to sit down and organize all of them and come up with a plan that will suit the majority of the people who live in the village of Mamaroneck. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura, Carlin.
The untimely deaths of a Westchester prosecutor and a Good Samaritan who came to his aid and were killed by a drunk driver on I-95 last year takes a new twist in court. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray has the story.
Sven Dramner is on trial for drunk driving and killing another drunken man and a Good Samaritan. Eugene Clerkin was driving home on Interstate 95 when he sideswiped a tractor trailer and plowed into construction barriers in Mamaroneck. A Good Samaritan called 911 and attempted to help him remove debris from under Clerkin's vehicle. Mr. Nair came along and hit the two men and killed them. Prosecutor Clerkin showed a 0.29% level of alcohol, and Mr. Nair's blood measured 0.20% alcohol. Mr. Esali, who stopped to assist the drunken driver, was sober. According to the Journal News, a grand jury indicted Mr. Nair not for DWI, but for the deaths of two people. Mr. Nair could be sentenced for 15 years in state prison if convicted of manslaughter charges. Mr. Nair's attorney is blaming Clerkin for causing the accident and is asking for the manslaughter charges to be reduced. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
The United Way of Westchester and Putnam has awarded $4,000 to the Hispanic Resource Center of Mamaroneck and Larchmont. $3,000 will be used to help pay for a year-long program called Diversity and You. Its purpose is to raise the awareness of the community's immigrant population through cultural events and speeches. And the remaining $1,000 will be used to educate day laborers. The training will focus on workplace language and behavioral skills to help the day laborers be treated fairly.
Well, drivers who use Dillon Road in the town of Mamaroneck better listen up. There has been some new speeding changes that you should be aware of. Here with the details is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
Residents who drive along Dillon Road in the town of Mamaroneck will have to drive a little slower from now on. The Mamaroneck Town Board unanimously voted to reduce the speed limit along Dillon Road to 25 miles per hour. The town reviewed a report by the Town of Mamaroneck Traffic Commission and agreed that the speed limit needed to be reduced. Mamaroneck Town Administrator Stephen Altieri was quoted in the Journal News saying, "Dillon Road currently has a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit and has been the scene of several accidents, some of them severe. It is a windy road with a steep grade on it, and it is also one of the narrower roads of the town." End of quote. There is a very sharp turn on Dillon Road that has a 15-mile-per-hour sign on it, and that will remain in effect. Remember, the new speed limit on Dillon Road in the town of Mamaroneck is now 25 miles per hour, and the new speed limit is already in effect. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel. Drive safely.
Westchester County's population has risen by almost 50,000 people over the last decade, according to the 2000 census. The total population for the year 2000 is 923,459. 71.3% are white, 14.2% are black, and 4.5% are Asian. The total population of Mamaroneck town increased by 4.6% over the last 10 years and now stands at almost 29,000 people. Mamaroneck village's population rose by 8.2% to 18,800, and in Larchmont the population went up by almost 5% to 6,500.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it is replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, Channel 71.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers either behind the scenes or as a reporter. Or maybe you would like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's Hot Dog Stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we'd love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you would like us to put on this new show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. We'll see you next week.
Larchmont is getting tough on geese.
Halstead Avenue Bridge is getting some much-needed repairs.
The concerned citizens for Harbor Island Park came by and gave us some of their ideas on what should be done for Harbor Island.
A Rhineck group home gets the thumbs down from the Mamaroneck Village Board, and we'll tell you why.
The villages of Larchmont and Mamaroneck have released their budgets. Tips on where the youths of our area can find work this summer, and a spring carnival and a whole lot more coming up on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News Show for the second week of April 2001. I'm Sven.
And I'm Maura Carlin. Our top story.
Good news for Larchmont residents. The tax hike for the proposed 2001-2002 budget is 1.7% for $1,000 of assessed value. The tax rate would be $195.90. For the average home assessed at $20,000, the tax payment would be $3,918. Under the proposed $10.1 million budget, spending would increase by 2.7%. There's agreement across party lines that the budget is a good one. The just re-elected Republican trustee, Ken Bialo, will review whether the budget increase could be reduced. He wants to take a look at the village's surplus of about $2 million. Village Treasurer Carmine DeLuca was quoted in the Journal News saying, "It is very important to maintain a surplus. This could keep your tax rate down." End of quote. DeLuca was referring to the issue of financing expensive projects in the future that may mean borrowing money. And such projects are improvements of the business district and of Flint Park.
Yielding to resident concerns, the Mamaroneck Village Board rejected a proposal for a group home on Wagner Avenue. The proposed facility, to be run by the Young Adult Institute, or YAI, is intended to house 8 developmentally disabled residents from Westchester County, including half from our area. If developed, it would be the 6th group home within the village of Mamaroneck by YAI. At the board meeting, residents came out in force to protest the Wagner Avenue site, claiming another home would saturate the area, parking would be a problem, taxes would increase since the group home is tax exempt, and property values would decline. Other citizens speaking out questioned the safety of local children. YAI Director Thomas Dern tried to allay concerns, saying they've never had a single negative incident involving neighborhood children. John McKiernan, a longtime village resident and owner of Miller's Toy Store in Mamaroneck, said that one of his former employees had been chosen to live in this group home and that he'd never had concern about this employee's presence in a store full of children. Now, parents of some of the home's proposed dwellers, including some village residents, urged the village to welcome their children into the neighborhood. In the end, though, the board vote was a close 2-1 against the Wagner site. But the issue does not end there. Under law, Mamaroneck cannot deny the establishment of group homes within the community, but it can help decide where the facility should be placed. YAI plans to appeal to New York State's Office of Mental Retardation and Developmental Disabilities.
Bad news for homeowners in Mamaroneck Village. Manager Michael Blau has submitted a budget proposal with a 10.8% tax rate increase. According to the village manager, increased health insurance, workers' compensation expenses, and debt payments on capital projects require the increase. Under the budget proposal, an additional $50,000 are listed for the new position of a secretary for the 3 land use committees in Mamaroneck. And $25,000 are also budgeted for hiring a consultant who would review the economic development plan for the business and industrial districts. Mayor Chapin told the Journal News, quote, "That will not be the final budget. In these economic times, there's no way we will have a 10% tax increase. It's just not acceptable," end of quote. A public hearing on the budget was scheduled for April 9th at the municipal building. Residents can review the budget at Village Hall, 123 Mamaroneck Avenue. The new budget will go into effect June 1st.
There's still no decision as to whether Omnipoint Communications can construct its cell tower in Mamaroneck near Exit 18 on Interstate 95. Last week, a judge delayed the hearing that could permanently stop construction of the 150-foot tower. Since February, construction has been halted due to a temporary restraining order issued by the court against Omnipoint. The village of Mamaroneck challenged the construction, claiming that Mamaroneck Village Board was not consulted about the tower. Now, although the land under the proposed tower is owned by the New York State Thruway Authority and not Mamaroneck, Village Mayor Debbie Chapin says the village board must be involved in the decision-making process for any construction within the village's borders, including the placement of cell towers. Several other Westchester municipalities, including Peekskill, Cortland, Rybrook, and Scarsdale, recently have also fought plans by wireless carriers to build cellular antennae. However, just this week, another state Supreme Court justice dismissed a lawsuit by the town of Bedford seeking the dismantling of a cell tower built within its borders without consulting the town. For now, though, there will be no construction on the tower in Mamaroneck until a decision is reached.
Westchester County's population has risen by almost 50,000 people the last decade. according to the 2000 census. The total population for 2000 is 923,459. A very interesting aspect of the census in our county is the increase in the under 18 years of age population. This group grew by 21% in Westchester in the 10-year period from 1990 to 2000. The adult population only increased by 1%. As a consequence, school districts in Westchester are increasing the number of teachers, and they have to spend millions of dollars to accommodate the students in new buildings.
Concerned citizens for Harbor Island stopped by our studios and spoke with Larchmont Mamaroneck community news reporter Amy Schachtel on some of their ideas for the park.
Would you please read your statement and we'll take it from there?
Sure, thank you. We're both members of Concerned Citizens for Harbor Island, and we've put together a paragraph, a statement about what we're about. As we seek to promote public debate on two pressing issues facing Harbor Island Park. First, the need to formulate a plan of action for cleaning up our rivers and harbor, and second, a request for a moratorium on the construction of any permanent structures in the park, such as a spray ground or a sports complex, until a mission statement is developed, followed by a long-term comprehensive master plan. I mean, the bottom line is we've linked these two issues, the issue of clean water and an effective park, because without clean water, you can't have a healthy park. And
That's understandable. Okay, so basically the issue of clean water. And the water has been tested. It's been years in the running, as we know. What is the state of it right now? Can you tell
Right
us?
now, Amy, as of this past fall, we had the Westchester County Health Department establishing some sampling sites throughout the harbor during the summer, and then they did a follow-up into the 3 waterways that run down into the harbor. And these are the numbers at the beach for the summer. These are 5 readings here, and all of them quite high, ranging.
I was going to say,
yes.
as these numbers go, they show.
They're highly bacterially contamination here.
Okay,
this
so
is the
serious.
yes, this is the safe standard according to the bathing beach standard set by the state, and this is what we have. We have this running in right by the bait station. We have Guyon Creek with water coming in about this level all summer. These are for 4 months, every 3 days. These were the averages. So then we have water out here. As we move out of the harbor, it becomes cleaner gradually until you actually get to the sewage treatment outfall, which is at this reading, 20/20. Many people have blamed our harbor's condition for that sewage plant, but in fact the sewage plant is doing quite a good job of cleaning the sewage. And
Well, Kathy, you have gone from Harbor Island,
Right, from
which
the
is the
park.
focus of what it is that we're concerned about, the water on Harbor
That's right.
Island. And understandably so, Stephen, you and I were talking about the fact that some development is going to be going on there. I want to get your take on the fact that if we're building and there's a water problem, a pollution problem, how does that's kind of like doing something, like you said, putting a Band-Aid on a problem.
yeah, and I think that's exactly what the spray ground is intended to do.
Can you tell us about that,
Yeah, the
please?
spray ground is something we actually just found out about recently. There's another issue in process, the fact that we only found out about in the last couple of months when it's been in the works for quite some time. But the spray ground is planned as about a 2,500 square foot facility that will be literally on the beach at Harbor Island Park, and it's to help kids get wet because they can't go in the water. It's probably a great thing to help kids get wet if you live in a place where you have a polluted beach. But to me, it's a signal that we've given up on our water, we've given up on our beach when we decide to do something like a spray ground. Because frankly, if we had clean water, it wouldn't have been on the table. No one would be discussing a spray ground. No one would be willing to spend $75,000 plus in our village to build this spray ground if we had clean water. So decisions are being made based on a situation that we think can be fixed.
yeah.
Okay, now Kathy, in the name of fixing this problem,
Okay.
first, again, identifying a problem is key to solving it.
Yes.
So if you can identify where this problem has emanated, what it is, and what we can do to take care of it.
Okay, these blue markers indicate the point in each of the 3 waterways that run into the harbor. At this point, the water is relatively clean above these markers. And for a person like myself who believed that it was an impossible price to, this was the price that we paid for modern times, I naively thought that that was the case. And then I was astonished to learn that no, that's not the case. That in fact it's clean up here in the 3 waterways and then proceeds to deteriorate and then get clean as it leaves the Sound. So basically, the data is telling us that the pollution is coming from our village. And
what can be done about that?
Yes. What can be done, there is a step being taken now at one major site that was located by the health department at a specific spot, and there are engineers working on that now, and we're very pleased to hear that. However, until we really address the cleanup in the other waterways, we're not going to have a full reading of our water.
And Chairman of the Westchester County Legislature, George Latimer, was on hand at our studios to discuss the issues raised by CCHI with Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
The most important thing, Amy, and I think this is how the citizens of the area feel, is they want to have Johnston Beach back, and they deserve to have it back. And you're dealing with almost the centerpiece of Mamaroneck Village in that beach and in that Harbor Island complex. The county's role in this may in fact be to be the agent that has to spend the money rather than the village in order to clean this up. And we don't do that because we've identified who's to blame. We do this because we have to solve the problem. If these counts of bacteria are high and we can trace it to either a county sewage pipe or, for that matter, a village sewage pipe, then the immediate challenge is to treat it as an emergency and fix it and solve it. And that's what I hope we'll get to as quickly as we can. And in this regard, my responsibility is to make sure that the county does its proper share to make sure these things happen. Once that immediate problem can be resolved, if it can be resolved, then it's the village's decision, the citizens of the village and the government of the village, of how they want to see Harbor Island develop going forward. It's a village facility, and those decisions should be made in Village Hall with citizenry, and the county's job should be a partner to help create the result that you're looking for. We do have some resources that are available. There are community development block grant monies that are available to county, which we should share with the village as the community sees fit. And in that regard, it becomes a decision done in the best interest of Mamaroneck residents, with the county supporting that.
If you're between the ages of 14 to 21 and are looking for a job this summer, then this next story by Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel might just interest you. Amy?
Employment for Larchmont-Mamaroneck, or ELM, is in its 3rd year of providing summer jobs for the youth of our area. If you are between the ages of 14 and 21, you are eligible for this program. ELM is a not-for-profit employment referral service that will screen all applicants and place them in appropriate jobs within our community. Also involved is the Community Counseling Center of Mamaroneck, who will provide pre-job training and counseling. This additional support will really help prepare the youth and teach them the vital skills and work habits that can really give them a head start in their future work life. Residents who are interested can contact your local youth officer, guidance counselor, or any other community official for a referral. And you can also call the ELM directly at 698-0221. That's the Employment for Larchmont-Mamaroneck Summer Youth Program, and their phone number again is 698-0221. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel. Happy job hunting.
George Latimer, chairman of the Westchester County Legislature, spoke with Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger about the curfew at Westchester County Airport.
About 5-6 years ago, there was a new garage built, about 1,300 spaces, and we've made a determination to pursue trying to close the garage from about 12:15 at night until about 5:50 in the morning. And the purpose behind closing the garage is to serve as a disincentive for people who might want to fly out early in the morning, or for that matter structurally fly on a flight that gets in late at night, which are breaking the voluntary curfew that we've had at the airport for the last 15+ years. The the voluntary curfew, obviously it's not mandatory, has been honored for a long period of time by most airlines. But in the last year and a half, we've started to get a number of airlines that want to fly earlier than 6:30 in the morning or structurally arrive later than 12 midnight. And we think it's really unfair to the people who live around the airport to have to deal with flights that are coming in that late or leaving at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning.
The noise is outrageous, you know, in the evening, early in the morning, you're sleeping, or you have children sleeping, you know, the quality of life is, you know, is disturbed.
And, you know, I think people who live near an airport, I happen to live next to Playland in Rye, and we understand that it's not the same experience that you'd have elsewhere. But I think you have the right to expect that a reasonable curfew is in effect, so that the market, if the market says, get me a 4:30 flight out in the morning, that it wouldn't be realistic to expect that you could have an airport open at that time of the morning, and it would be that disturbing. And there are options in this area. You have LaGuardia, you have Stewart Airport, that serves the northern part of the county up through Orange County. And you also have the flexibility, which I used as a businessman, to fly out the night before if you desperately want to be at a certain place at a certain time. So we think this is an appropriate tool to use to try to discourage the airlines from booking those early flights in the morning, because it just becomes very difficult to get into the parking garage and then, you know, then be on a flight within 10 minutes.
Right, now the time is 12:15.
It's approximately 12:15 to 5:50. There is a provision in case of an emergency. If a flight is coming east and is delayed by weather or some kind of problem, that we have the capacity on an individual basis to keep the garage open to allow people who are coming in who would have been in earlier to get their cars in access and go. But our Board of Legislators will be having a hearing from the public on April 23rd, and then we'll have the issue before us. And I think Paul Noto, my colleague from the adjacent district, agrees that this is a tool to use to try to discourage it. And I expect it's going to pass, and then we'll see how it plays out in the weeks to come.
10 prospective tenants in Mamaroneck were looking forward to living in the village at 131 Prospect Avenue. But those dreams have been shattered, and the prospective tenants also lost $12,300 in total in deposits that they made. The owner of the building, Joseph Stewart, a resident of Greenwich, Connecticut, was charged last week with a total of 10 counts of 3rd and 4th degree grand larceny, both felonies, and petty larceny, a misdemeanor. Since February, Stewart collected deposits from the prospective tenants and cashed them. He was being held at Westchester County Jail without bail. Legally, the building that Stewart owns on Prospect Avenue is a side-by-side two-family house. According to the Mamaroneck Village Building Department, it already has more apartments than permitted. Stewart was served a notice on March 23rd to remedy the violations of the village code.
If you're driving, it's time to let go of the cell phone. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger spoke with Chairman of the Westchester County Legislature, George Latimer, about the upcoming ban.
It's a controversial decision that we made in our county. Suffolk County had made a decision previously in the same way. But on balance, the concern was over the safety factor of what happens when you're in a car for a period of time and you have one hand fully engaged holding onto a cell phone. I've done it myself.
I have too. Everyone has, I think.
And I made some bad decisions behind the wheel. Nothing that ever became a problem, but you catch yourself as an adult and you say, you know, I wasn't thinking clearly on that. So what we put into effect, and it will go into effect depending on when you're seeing this newscast in the latter part of April, what it says is it is legal to have a hands-free unit, something where your hands are not directly engaged. The speakerphone system is fine. If you have a hands-free unit, you can have it in the car. You can have it on the seat next to you. If you pull over to the side of the road, you can use it. If there's an emergency of some sort of car accident, that's a separate situation. But by and large, what becomes illegal is the use of the cell phone while you're in the car and it's moving. It's a moving situation.
It's a moving violation. If you're driving and you're holding the cell phone, what if you're at a stoplight?
It's considered you're part of the traffic flow, so you should not use it just at a stoplight.
Don't stop and talk.
That's right. Pull over to the side of the road and use it prudently. The intent is not to fine people or jail time. The intent is to encourage them not to use it. So the initial enforcement is going to be warnings and reminding people of the law. Ideally, this would be a state law rather than a county-by-county law, because right now it'll apply in Westchester. It applies in Suffolk County if you're going out to Montauk or in that direction. But New York City's looking at it. But it is a bit of a crazy quilt pattern. But until the state acts, we felt it was prudent to act. And I know it's controversial. We heard a lot of people who didn't think it was such a great idea. But on balance, we think that safety is the most important element first.
It certainly is. So everyone, remember, don't be stopping and talking. It's against the law now.
That's the plan.
Hands-free. Thank you again, George, for coming by.
Nice to be with you.
LMC Community News spoke with some future business leaders of America about their organization and activities.
Some special guests here with me this evening from Mamaroneck High School's FBLA to tell us about their organization. First, Jake Morvay, why don't you tell us what FBLA is?
Well, FBLA stands for Future Business Leaders of America, and it's a nationwide organization comprising of over 250,000 members. It's available on the local, state, and national level.
Okay. Now we also have Giselle American, and she's going to tell us about the kinds of activities that FBLA does.
Well, we do a lot of community service activities, although we're a business-oriented club. We do annually, we have a turkey and canned food drive for Thanksgiving, and we also have a senior citizens luncheon. We spend the day with the senior citizens of Mamaroneck and Larchmont. We also do an annual fundraiser for the state charity, which this year was the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We sold stars on the main hallway of the high school, and we raised $340.
That sounds great. Now I know we have Jayraj Patel, and you're going to tell us about the school service activities that the organization does.
Yes, we also have a few school service activities. We run the school store called the Tiger's Den, which is painted with a mural of a tiger. It increases the beauty of the store and the hallway. All employees in the store are FBLA members, and they raise about half the payment of the cost for Rochester. We also have the Adopt a Hallway project. All presidents of the clubs in the high school adopt a hallway by putting up posters and keeping the hallway clean for 1 week.
Okay, great. Jackie Gilpin, now you're going to tell us about some of the other activities.
We do social activities. We meet for pizza parties, or we have lunch at Walter's. Last year we went to Applebee's and had potluck dinners. We also attend workshops in our conferences, and we have people who host the workshops and give them on things like web page design and FBLA-related topics. These are at district, state, and national level. And we talk before the community, and in order to receive points for our biggest competition, which is the Chapter of the Year competition, we have to talk to the community and promote FBLA. We spoke to the Board of Education, the PTSA, local schools and civic clubs such as the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, and the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, great. Jake, you have some fundraising to tell us about?
Yes, well, our trips are very expensive. We go to places such as Rochester and Disney World and Long Beach, California. And to come up with that money, we do several fundraisers throughout the year. Our biggest fundraiser is we sell cheesecakes, which is very popular with the faculty. They always buy lots, especially the secretaries. They love them. And we sell holiday gift items from a company called Tom Watt. And we also sell Sour Power candy, which individuals go around and sell for $1 a bag. And all the money everyone raises goes into their own personal FBLA account, and they use that money to spend towards their trips.
Now, Tracy Jo Figueroa, you're sitting right next to these really big trophies. Why don't you tell us about them and what they're from?
Okay, in FBLA we do a lot of competitive events. There's district levels in which they come as a precursor to the state level competitions. These are some district trophies that we have that members from our chapter actually won this year. And this large trophy here is for the biggest competition that we have in New York State, FBLA, which is a Chapter of the Year competition. And this is a competition that about out of 200 chapters, we actually placed 6th in last year. So wow. Also for competitive events, there's at the state conference, members meet from all across New York State to compete in different competitions such as parliamentary procedure or basic FBLA facts, even also public speaking competitions. And also, members also run for state office. And last year, Jacob and myself actually ran for state office, and this year we are serving, he serves as a District 3 Vice President, and I serve as a state reporter. So FBLA is a lot of work, but it's definitely a lot of fun for us. So.
Great. Now we have Herbie Weisberg, and you're going to tell us what what you've learned from FBLA.
And FBLA teaches us a lot about business, whether it be communication skills or a sense of responsibility or things as management. And we do this in a number of fashions. We do it from running our own businesses, by selling things, by doing community service, by taking tests, and we learn a lot from law, and all of this is from an extracurricular activity, which is really amazing.
Well, I think that's wonderful, and I want to thank you all for coming in. We should also mention that Tracy Joe and Gisela are the co-presidents, is that right? And you're both graduating this year?
Yes.
Well, we wish you all the best of luck. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
The village of Larchmont is once again declaring war on the Canada geese. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck community news reporter Christina Bolger.
The village of Larchmont has hired Geese Relief, a Greenwich, Connecticut-based geese control company. It seems the Canada geese have decided to winter in Flint and Lorenz Park instead of vacationing in Florida. According to Geese Relief, the Canada goose population in this area of the country increases by 30% each year. They also estimate that each goose leaves between 1 and 3 pounds of droppings every day. Geese Relief will use border collies to scare off the geese. The geese feel safe here and really don't have any predators to contend with. Larchmont is hoping the border collies will change their minds. The Larchmont plan is the same used by the village of Mamaroneck, who seems to have had success. The only difference is the Mamaroneck. The border collie lives with the harbor master, Jim Mancuso, and patrols the park every day. The Larchmont plan has the border collie coming to work as an employee of the Geese Relief Company and not as a full-time resident like in Mamaroneck. Larchmont will have to pay over $1,000 a month for the services of Geese Relief. Larchmont seems to be banking on the geese leaving permanently after being chased by the dogs, a plan that didn't work when Mamaroneck tried it. Stay tuned for more details.
The village of Mamaroneck has imposed a moratorium on all construction along the village waterfront. The Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club over in Rhinebeck is trying to get them to change their minds. Here with the details is Larchmont Mamaroneck community news reporter Amy Schachtel.
2 weeks back, we announced here on the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News that the village of Mamaroneck had imposed a 3-month moratorium on new development at the village's waterfront clubs. The Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club hopes to get an exemption, citing financial difficulties. The club is hoping that by expanding its dining and recreational facilities, it will attract more members and keep the club afloat. Back in November, the Mamaroneck Zoning Board of Appeals rejected the club's proposal, saying the expansion would turn the club into a catering facility and not be of any real benefit to the club members. The Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht is challenging the Zoning Board's decision in State Supreme Court and has come up with a scaled-down proposal. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
Some much-needed repairs on the Halstead Avenue Bridge will begin soon. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck community news reporter Christina Bolger.
The Halstead Avenue Bridge, which goes over the Mamaroneck River and is just down the street from the northbound train tracks, is about to have some precautionary renovation done. There will be no major structural repairs, but things like metal fasteners, waterproofing, pothole repair, and cracks in the roadway will be taken care of. The contract to repair the bridge went to Melrose Development of Tuckahoe and is expected to cost about $600,000. The work on the Halstead Avenue Bridge is scheduled to take about 7 months. Commuters can rest easy because officials have said 2 lanes of traffic will be kept open at all times. People that park on the bridge's side lanes will have to find another place to park until the work is completed. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
It's time once again for the village of Mamaroneck's Ride into Spring Carnival. Here to tell you all about it is Larchmont Mamaroneck community news reporter Amy Schachtel.
Not going away this week? Why not stop down at Harbor Island for the Ride into Spring Carnival? This is the village of Mamaroneck's 5th season with the carnival that is strictly 100% geared towards family entertainment. There's a roller coaster, a Ferris wheel, game booths, and food stand. The carnival will run till Easter Sunday. It's open weekdays from 2 to 9 p.m. and 2 to 10 p.m. on the weekend and is operated by S&S Amusements from Pennsylvania. So come to the Ride into Spring Carnival down at Harbor Island Park from now till Easter. The event is sponsored by the Village of Mamaroneck Recreation Department. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel, and I'll see you there.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV channel 71.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can. Call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter, or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put on this program, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven.
And I'm Maura Carlin. We'll see you next week.
And just before we leave you, we'd like to welcome a new member of our news crew, Alex Miller, who is working behind the scene, and today he worked the teleprompter.
Thank you, Alex.
Nile is back in the news.
The Sound is losing a lot of green, and we don't mean algae.
Lifeguards are needed in the town of Mamaroneck.
The Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club must yield up financial records.
We have new fire chiefs in the village of Mamaroneck, and the New York Attorney General is getting involved with the regatta. Those stories and more all right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News Show for the first week of May 2001. I'm Sven.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story. The State Attorney General's office is trying to help resolve a dispute over repairs at the Regatta condominiums in Mamaroneck. Residents of the 114-unit building say the brick walls leak during storms, the terraces are cracking and unsafe, and the parking spots are too narrow. The Mamaroneck Affordable Condominium Corporation, or MACC, which was formed by the village trustees to build the regatta, says it's taking steps to repair the roof, but both sides are waiting to hire an independent engineer this spring to determine what needs to be repaired. The problems began in 1998 when the Brooklyn-based builder filed a $1.7 million mechanics lien on the building while it awaited payment for extra steel needed during construction of the regatta. The village board is trying to recoup some monies from the architect and steel engineer through a lawsuit pending in state Supreme Court. Mayor Chapin is quoted in the Journal News as saying she is hopeful that all sides will come to a settlement on their own since the village isn't planning on getting involved again. Condo Association President Brian Gassick said the problem is that no one wants to take responsibility for the problems, and that has forced them to hire an attorney. We will keep you updated on the ongoing battle for regatta repairs.
A local resident was ordered by White Plains jury to pay $200,000 in compensatory damages and $300,000 in punitive damages to a Manhattan sculptor. The Manhattan man was beaten up by Mamaroneck town resident and lawyer Joshua Friedman after he parked his car on the corner of Damon Terrace and St. Place near Murray Avenue School, where he wanted to pick up his 5-year-old son. Friedman confronted the sculptor when he returned to his car and threatened to call the police. The sculptor was later thrown to the ground and punched twice in the face by Friedman. He was briefly unconscious, suffered a broken nose and hearing loss. A neighbor witnessed the event and saw Friedman leaving the scene, smiling and offering a high five. He now has to pay the price for his action.
Well, construction of a 150-foot cellular telephone antenna may return to Mamaroneck. State Supreme Court Justice Louis Barone lifted a temporary restraining order placed on OmniPoint Communications that required the company to stop work on the tower off I-95's Exit 18 until it received permits from the village of Mamaroneck. The restraining order had stopped building since February. Mayor Debbie Chapin had said the tower was an eyesore and required village approval. OmniPoint says the land is owned by the State Thruway Authority and therefore they only need the state agency's permission to build. Barone's decision dismissed the village's lawsuit against OmniPoint and requires the village to name the Thruway Authority as a party in the case or to file a new lawsuit against the state. The Federal Communications Act of 1996 prohibits municipalities from banning cell towers altogether. Regardless, Village Attorney Steve Silverberg does plan to file a lawsuit against OmniPoint Communications and its parent company, VoiceStream Wireless, and will include the New York State Thruway Authority as a party in the case. No date has been set for hearing yet.
It's time for school news, and here with a report on MHS and Rhine-Neck schools is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
On Tuesday, May 15th, Rhine-Neck and Mamaroneck residents will vote for their school board representatives and for the budget. The Rhine-Neck proposed budget is $21,134,222, which is a 8.7% increase over last year's budget. The Mamaroneck proposed budget is $71,423,000, which is a 6.2% increase over last year's budget. The Mamaroneck proposed increase is $423 per $1,000 of assessed value. The Committee for the Selection of Mamaroneck School Board nominees endorsed Robert Martin, who is a sitting trustee since 1997. He is a 22-year Larchmont resident with a history of volunteer work. The committee also endorsed a 39-year-old woman, Cecilia Absher, who is an attorney. The third person seeking election is an incumbent, Judy Silberstein, who has 16 years of various volunteer positions in the Mamaroneck School District. Ms. Silberstein is a clinical psychologist. In Rhine-Neck, incumbents Gulato and Kelly are running for re-election. Evan Heller is a first-time candidate in this race. Ms. Gulato is seeking a 5th term. During her 12 years on the board, she has served on various committees. Robert Kelly, a Mount Vernon police captain, has served on the board for 3 years. Each candidate wants to strengthen each student in order to give them the best education possible.
The economy may be losing steam and nationwide unemployment is on the rise, but locally jobless rates are still dropping. Nationwide, the jobless rate has increased to 4.6% over the last 12 months. In New York State, however, unemployment was down from 5% to 4.4%. For Westchester County, the rate was 2.9%, down from 3.1% a year ago. Unemployment was also down on a month-by-month basis. Officials hope that the trend will continue into the spring and summer of this year. The numbers encourage the hope that we may escape a recession.
Well, President Bush's recent budget proposal only allocated $477,000 toward improving the quality of water in the Long Island Sound. In reaction to this, Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton and Representative Nita Lowey, among others, spoke out against the cuts at Harbor Island Park 2 weeks ago. Well, last summer, the harbor beaches were closed for all but a week due to worries about high chloroform counts. One of the county's sewage treatment plants sits on the harbor, but other beaches on the Sound were also closed last summer when contaminated stormwater washed into waterways after heavy rains. Tom Anderson of the Westchester Land Trust is quoted in the Journal News saying it is going to be difficult for the state and county to come up with the money to make sewage treatment plant improvements without help from the federal government. The efforts to clean up the Sound have won wide support in New York and Connecticut from Democrats and Republicans. The bottom line, of course, is despite the weak federal funds, we must all work together to keep the Sound clean.
A new law has gone into effect, so listen up or it could cost you. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck community news reporter Amy Schachtel.
It's now against the law to use your handheld cell phone while driving in Westchester. Back in 1997, the New England Journal of Medicine did a study on the use of holding a phone while driving and concluded that drivers are 4 times more likely to be involved in a crash. This fear of distraction while driving has prompted the Westchester County Board of Legislators to ban the use of handheld cell phones while driving. Hand-free cell phones are permitted. Motorists who are caught driving with handheld cell phones face a $150 fine. Westchester follows Suffolk County on Long Island, who back in October approved the ban on handheld cell phones while driving. Their law took effect in January. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
So I guess we better keep those phones on vibrate or get the hands-free version.
Some hands-free versions, yeah.
Well, Larchmont has finalized their budget. Here with the details is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
The Village of Larchmont's $10 million budget for 2001 to 2002 was passed by a 3-to-2 vote. The tax rate was up 1.7%. The 2 Republican trustees, Bialo and Verney, both thought the 1.7% was too high. Trustee Verney stated, according to the Sound and Times newspaper, "When I see ways where money can be saved, it should be saved." The 2 Republicans do not think the village should have a large rainy day fund. Carmine DeLuca, the village treasurer, warned that the surplus will be needed to handle anticipated fire and police pension plans in the near future. Pension funds were hit by the downswing of the market. Trustee Benton declared the 1.7% increase is well below the consumer price index, and they accomplished this old feat in the old-fashioned way with competent management and fiscal conservatism. The Larchmont fiscal year is June 1 through May 31st. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
The Village of Mamaroneck has appointed some new chiefs to their fire department. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel fills us in.
The Village of Mamaroneck operates 5 firehouses. All the firehouses are run by volunteers, a tradition that's been around for some 116 years. Earlier this month, the firemen got together and elected a few new chiefs, and they are Robert Deshensky, who is the new chief engineer, Craig Castorella, first assistant chief engineer, and second assistant chief engineer is Michael Copey. The Village of Mamaroneck is always looking for a few new volunteers to fill its ranks. They even put together a new brochure that helps explain about volunteer training opportunities. A copy of the new brochure can be obtained from any of the 5 firehouses. It's a great way to serve the community and learn a lot about fire safety. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
Well, the Village of Mamaroneck has stepped up its search to find polluters at Harbor Island. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray tells us how it's going.
The search is on to find the cause of the water pollution at the harbor. Dye tests were scheduled to be taken from toilets and floor drains in all buildings between Fenimore Road and the Sheldrake River. Engineers fear that sanitary sewage accidentally gets routed to the storm sewers, causing excessive amounts of bacteria in the river. All buildings south of Fenimore Road and some close to the Sheldrake and Mamaroneck rivers will be checked. All sanitary sewer manholes in the area will be monitored for possible overflows to the village storm sewer. Jim Desmond of the Concerned Citizens for Harbor Island states that he is pleased that the village is taking steps to clean up the water and to find the source of the pollution. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Looking for a job this summer that will keep you by the water? If so, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel might just have what you're looking for.
The town of Mamaroneck is in the process of recruiting certified lifeguards to cover Homick's Pool. The season runs from June 16th until September 3rd. The Homick's Pool is open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and all shifts are available. Any qualified lifeguards out there can pick up an application at the Town of Mamaroneck Recreation Department, located in the town center at 740 West Boston Post Road in Mamaroneck. If you would like more information, you can call the Recreation Department at 381-7865. The Town of Mamaroneck Recreation Department is looking for lifeguards to cover Homick's Pool this summer, and their phone number again is 381-7865. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
Is there a vaccine for the West Nile virus yet? Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin has the story.
As we continue to track the West Nile virus, scientists are concerned that a vaccine for the illness remains at least 10 years away. At least that's the opinion of some scientists who gathered last week at an international science conference in Westchester. And it's not that science is unable to develop a vaccine, rather it's that there's not a market for it. For while the West Nile virus is responsible for the death of thousands of birds, few people have succumbed to the disease. According to scientists, the more human cases, the more quickly pharmaceutical companies get a vaccine out to the public. In 1999, when the virus was first discovered in New York City, 62 people became ill from West Nile and 7 died. Last year, those numbers went down, with only 14 sick and 1 dead. Now, the geography of the disease, though, has spread. In 1999, West Nile in the United States was contained in downstate New York and parts of New Jersey and Connecticut. Last year, the disease was found as far north as New Hampshire and as far south as North Carolina. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
Attention boating enthusiasts, Mamaroneck is having a boat show coming up that you don't want to miss.
Yes, coming up on May 4th, 5th, and 6th, we are hosting our 2nd annual boat show. It will be held at Harbor Island, and we hope to have a very wonderful turnout. Hopefully the weather will cooperate and we'll have the community turn out and support the Lions Club.
Well, I would say the weather will probably be in your favor, because when you're doing good work like you have been doing with the Lions Club, this is just another event that will turn out well for you with good weather. But I want to hear about the boats.
Well,
how many boats are participating?
We haven't had a final count yet, but we hope to have over 40 boats, various different dealers showing up. Boats ranging in sizes from 30 feet probably down to 15 feet. So we'll have a wide variety available for any prospective boat buyers or just
people who enjoy
people who can enjoy boating and want to come and take a look at some boats.
Well, I mean, it's twofold here. It's very enjoyable on a beautiful day to be out on the water and looking at terrific boats. And it's also very gratifying to know that what you're doing is going to result in helping other people. And I know the Lions Club has done a lot of work in the past. Can you tell us how their work has helped?
That's the key here. We're really trying to sponsor this event to help boost host the Lions Club fundraising activities. This has turned out to be our major event. Last year, as I said, was our first boat show. This year being our second. We hope to be able to surpass what we were able to raise last year. And that's helped us not only to continue to contribute to our main charities. For instance, one of our main charities are for the blind, hearing impaired, but we've also tried to steer in a direction where we can contribute back to our community, the Village of Mamaroneck. After last year's boat show, we were able to establish a scholarship fund. This year, the scholarship was awarded to Rhonda High School. Hopefully, with a little more success at this year's boat show, we'll be able to give scholarships not only to Rhonda, but hopefully to Mamaroneck High School. If we're not able to do two, we'll alternate. We'll continue to alternate. We started with Rhonda. Next year, we'll move on to Mamaroneck High School.
That you get enough money and enough support and sponsorship that you'll be able to do that. So once again, I'd like you to tell our viewers the date of when the show is and where it's going to be.
Again, it's May 4th, 5th, and 6th at Harbor Island. We encourage everyone to come out and join us. I do want to add, this is not only for the adults, this is for children. Last year we had a very, very popular ride for the kids. It was the Titanic. It was a big Titanic slide. And I'm happy to say the Titanic will be coming to Mamaroneck again. And please come out with your families, friends, and anybody you can reach out to. I think there'll be food, refreshments. It'll be enjoyable for everybody.
And Tony, is there a number that people can call if they also want to get involved?
Yes, anyone who has any questions, would like to help, or perhaps bring a boat. We're not only having new boats, but we're having old boats. If you're looking to sell a boat, we'd be more than happy to have you come down and take up a spot. You can contact me, again, Tony Voza, at 381-9100. And I'll be happy.
381-9100.
That's it.
Tony, thank you so much.
Thank you again for having me.
The 2000 census offers some puzzles. On the one hand, school enrollment is up, but on the other hand, total population numbers are stable or even down. In Westchester County, 5 municipalities showed a decrease in the overall population. The communities with a lower population are Pelham Town and Village, Hastings-on-Hudson, Tuckahoe, and Ardsley. No one seems to be able to really explain what happened, and one reason may be that blue-collar families have been replaced by professionals who tend to have fewer children. Some believe that another reason may be a miscount during the previous census in 1990. There'll be a chance for communities to challenge current census numbers. The challenge procedure must be approved by the Federal Office of Management and Budget.
Videographers, listen up. LMC-TV is holding a special contest just for you. Here to fill you in is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin.
It's time once again for LMC-TV's annual awards show to be held at the Emlyn Theater on Thursday, May 31st at 8 p.m. On that same evening, LMC-TV will be holding the Almost Anything Goes short video contest. The contest is open to everyone. Videos should be 30 seconds to 5 minutes in length. All videos have to be on SVHS or VHS videotape, and contestants must be willing to have their tape played over LMC-TV and at the LMC-TV Annual Awards Show. Prizes for the Almost Anything Goes video contest will be awarded in 4 separate categories: grade school, middle school, high school, and adult. The contest deadline is Friday, May 18th. All entries will be accepted at the LMC-TV headquarters, located in the Mamaroneck Town Center, 740 West Boston Post Road in Mamaroneck. For more information on the Almost Anything Goes short video contest, you can call 381-2002, extension 102. That number again is 381-2002, extension 102. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin. See you there.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV Channel 71.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the new show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers either behind the scenes or as a reporter, or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do. In fact, our newest member here at the news show is Mehdi Carmone, a high school freshman at MHS, and he's provided a lot of technical support just for us behind the scenes.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School building, the Palmer Avenue side. It's just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this new show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
And thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. We'll see you next week.
Service disrupted in the village of Mamaroneck.
A Larchmont cardiologist does something nice for children.
There's a new report out on Harbor Island.
A decision has been reached about the expansion of the Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club.
The Mamaroneck Village budget has been finalized, and the town of Mamaroneck launches their new website. Those stories and more coming up right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Welcome to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News Show for the second week of May 2001. I'm Amy Schachtel.
And I'm Maura, Carlin. Our top story. A rape at Mamaroneck High School. Another student is charged. 19-year-old Messiah Pollock of Mamaroneck has been accused of statutory rape of another student and is being held without bail at Westchester County Jail in Valhalla. The incident allegedly occurred in the high school during the school day. The charge, second-degree rape, is a felony and is based on Pollock being over 18 and having sexual intercourse with someone under 15. Police were notified of the incident after the victim and her parents reported it to school officials about 24 hours after it occurred. The investigation is continuing and we'll keep you updated.
Over 800 homes and businesses in the village of Mamaroneck have been without phone service for about a week. On April 26th, Con Edison cut 4 underground telephone lines while digging a hole for a new utility pole, which is part of the village of Mamaroneck's renovation project. For Mamaroneck Avenue, the underground phone lines are located on the corner of Halstead and Mamaroneck Avenues. Service was finally restored to the remaining 200 customers as of May 3rd. Merchants along Mamaroneck Avenue were without phone service and were not able to place orders or process credit card transaction. A spokesman for the phone company, John Bonomo, was quoted in the Journal News saying, "Verizon has a policy where refunds are given to customers who have been without service for more than 24 hours. Mr. Bonomo went on to say that he wasn't sure about this case because the phone disconnection was caused by Con Ed.
4.9%. That's the property tax increase in Mamaroneck Village for the 2001-2 budget year. And it's a great improvement over the 10.8% tax increase first proposed by the village in March. Last month, village officials met with department heads to reduce spending on non-essential items and to raise other charges in order to produce a more affordable budget, according to Mamaroneck Village Mayor Debbie Chapin. The tax rate for 2001-2 will be just over $188 per $1,000 of assessed value. That translates into just over $3,013 for the average home assessed at $16,000. Items removed from the budget since March include a lease for a new police SUV, building repairs for the fire department, and a new secretary which was to be shared by the 3 land use committees. On the other side, revenues are expected to increase from sales, mortgage, and utility taxes, and from increases in commuter parking permits, going up from $240 to $360 a year, as well as a $5 increase in parking fines.
The new restrictions at the Westchester Airport has had little effect on the airlines breaking the curfew. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
In an attempt to balance community interests and business interests, Westchester County Executive Andy Spano closed the garages at the Westchester County Airport from midnight until 6:30 a.m. in the hopes of reducing flight schedules. The county airport is considered a quiet one under federal standards. Therefore, an attempt to obtain a legal curfew would prove costly and might even demonstrate the airport is more quiet than many others. In 1990, the Congress passed the Airport Noise Control Act to stop the spread of conflicting noise rules at commercial airports. The FAA has approved just 3 new mandatory flight bans. There has been a voluntary curfew in effect since 1983 at the county airport. Airport records show that the noisiest offenders of the voluntary curfew are corporate jets, whose owners are drawn to Westchester for its convenient location and labor pool. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
The Village of Mamaroneck has instituted a 90-day moratorium on construction at the village's waterfront clubs. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News has been reporting for the past couple of weeks on the Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club, who has asked the village for a special waiver so they could expand their dining and recreational facilities. The Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club had argued at the village board meeting on April 9th that the expansion was needed because they were losing money and were not staying competitive with the other clubs in the area. At the meeting on April 9th, the Mamaroneck Village Board asked the Beach and Yacht Club to provide additional records to prove that the hardships actually existed, but the club refused. Seeing no reason to bypass the 3-month moratorium, the Village of Mamaroneck has denied the Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club their request for expansion.
Kudos to Larchmont cardiologist Henry Issenberg. Dr. Issenberg was one of 25 doctors from around the world to receive the Paul Harris Fellow Medallion from the Rotary Club for his participation in Rotary Club International's Gift of Life program. Gift of Life arranges for life-saving open heart surgery in the United States for children from developing countries where such procedures may not be readily available. Montefiore Medical Center, where Dr. Issenberg is director of the Pediatric Cardiac Catheterization Laboratory, has treated more than 100 children in the Gift of Life program since becoming involved 4 years ago. Congratulations again.
Housing sales in our area have slowed down, but the prices are still soaring. Here with the details is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
The median price for a single-family house in Westchester is now $412,500. This represents a rise of 11% from last year. Cooperatives rose 7% and condominiums 34%. The slowdown on the stock market has impacted the real estate market. However, there are still not enough houses to equal the demand for them. Some buyers are beginning to wait in hopes that the inventory will increase. Putnam County single-family purchases declined by 9%, and the median price for a house in Putnam is $223,000. The multiple listing service believes that lower interest rates could stimulate the real estate market among middle-income buyers. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Last year, the Village of Mamaroneck Board of Trustees put on the books a new law requiring all village laundromats to have an attendant present during all hours of operation. The law has not yet to be enforced. Merchants who do business near the village laundries and the police believe the law is necessary to make the area safer and prevent people from loitering. The main reason for the lack of enforcement of the new law is Jeffrey Pinerio. Pinerio owns 3 of the 4 laundries in the Village of Mamaroneck and has told the village board that complying with the law would be too expensive and would drive his stores out of business. Mayor Debbie Chapin has scheduled May 29th as the night to continue a hearing on a proposal to repeal the law. Mayor Chapin is interested in hearing from residents who use the laundries and from the owner of the other laundromats in the village. Specifically, why that laundromat can stay in business with an attendant and Pinerio's 3 laundries cannot.
Local emergency personnel got ready in the event of a mass casualty accident. Last week, a 3-car accident was staged at Harbor Island in Mamaroneck as part of a drill to see what would happen in the event of such a casualty. Organized by the Village of Mamaroneck, the response team included the village and town of Mamaroneck, Larchmont, Harrison, and Portchester, along with New York United Hospital Medical Center and a Westchester County Stat Flight, which is an emergency evacuation helicopter based in Valhalla. The emergency response will be evaluated by a physician.
Attention all web surfers. The town of Mamaroneck last week formally launched their new website, and the address is www.townofmamaroneck.org. The site contains information on the town departments, a calendar with the meeting agendas, and applications for permits. The villages of Larchmont and Mamaroneck already have their websites up and running. The IKEA fight and an increase in the number of marriage applications from immigrants over the past few months has put the town's website on hold. The address again for the Town of Mamaroneck website is www.townofmamaroneck.org.
Well, they're back from a statewide competition. Who's back? The future business leaders of America. That's who. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray has the interview.
Surrounded by the future business leaders of New York and, I say, the country. Who am I surrounded by?
Well, we are the FBLA members of Mamaroneck High School chapter.
FBLA?
Yes.
And what is that?
Future Business Leaders of America.
And what is your role in this organization?
Well, I am the co-president with Gisela Mariquin at Mamaroneck High School, and I also serve as New York State reporter for New York State FBLA.
Oh, do you enjoy this position?
Yes, both positions require a lot of work, a lot of dedication with the chapter and with the state, but it's just incredible how I've grown and the experiences I've gained from serving on both positions.
Oh, wonderful. Your teachers will be delighted. We have one gentleman here with us.
Hi.
One of my favorites, Jake. Who sponsors FBLA?
Well, we do most of our own fundraising. We have cheesecake sales and we sell Sour Power. And in addition to that, the high school here pays for half the trip of our winners to our state conference.
But this must be a part of the Department of Education of New York State somehow.
Yes, we do have one member of our board of trustees who's also from that department, but pretty much we're a self-contained organization. We do our own fundraising.
Oh, wonderful. Now, you're the lady Giselle, yes?
Gisela.
Yeah. Gisela, fine. Now, how did Mamaroneck win this lovely trophy?
We were very successful at the State Leadership Conference this year. Not only did we place in some of our reports that we wrote and we had to submit by March 1st, but we also had to put together an about 160-page scrapbook, which you can see here. And what this is really just a description of all the activities that we do throughout the year, ranging from community service activities to
How much
fundraisers.
time do you put into community service?
We do a lot of community service, actually. We do 3 major activities throughout the year. We do a Thanksgiving turkey and canned food drive in November. Yes. We also fundraise for the New York State charity, which this year was the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And we sold stars, paper stars in the overpass here at Mamaroneck High School, and we sold about $340 worth. So we fundraised a lot for them. We also do an activity with the Cancer Walk in June, and we participate in that, and about 15 to 20 of our members attend that community service activity.
So this is your guide?
Yes.
And now who created this guide?
New York State FBLA put together guidelines and requirements which need to go in here. We have to write a summary, in addition include attendance sheets of all the members that attended every activity, and publicize really every activity that we do.
Now, is there a chapter in every high school in Westchester County? How does that work?
It's actually one of our requirements to go out and recruit some new high schools around. We've been to Rhonda High School, Blessed Sacrament High School, and not every high school has FBLA because some just don't have business courses, which some of our competitions require that we do have business courses. But we have a high school, White Plains High School is part of Westchester, and other schools within our district.
Is there any competition between the different chapters or among the different chapters?
Well, it's all a very friendly rivalry. We all try, place higher than each other, of course, but, it's the main reason of this organization is not to win trophies, but to grow personally. And anything you put into the club, you get back tenfold.
Right. Now, does this represent first place?
No, it's actually 3rd place. So we're very proud of it. We weren't able to get first place because we didn't have a national officer, and FBLA is a national organization, so if you serve as a national officer, it also includes points in the scrapbook, so that's why we didn't place first, but 3rd is out of 15 finalists and about 200 chapters in New York State.
Now, if anyone wants to send money to the high school, would that be acceptable?
Definitely.
Who would they send the money to?
If anyone wanted to make a donation, they should send it care of Eileen Multari, who is our FBLA advisor.
Oh, wonderful. And do you have speakers to come in during the semester?
Yes. We have, as another requirement for the scrapbook, we have to have people come and speak to us who are business people or know about stuff. We had Andrew Joseph come in and speak to us. We had Juan Soto come speak to us. And Johnson's in Wales came to speak to us. They have a PBL chapter, which is the college version of FBLA. And they come and they give like little lectures, and we take pictures and sign attendance sheets and put it in the scrapbook.
Wonderful. And the little lady that's hiding.
Hi.
Tell me something else about FBLA.
Well, my name is Arpita Patel, and I currently serve as the local chapter historian. As a historian, my main job was to take care of the scrapbook. As Gisela mentioned, we have to write a lot of summaries for each activity that we do in FBLA. I was in charge of writing the summaries, and then I had to get them proofread and make sure that they're ready to enter the scrapbook. As a historian, I also had to write this report, the local chapter annual report, which is another summary of all the activities done at FBLA, and it includes all kinds of awards and everything else that we've won. We placed 4th place in this local chapter report, and this is the American Enterprise Report, which is the school store report. FBLA is the school store, which is known as the Tiger's Den at Mamaroneck High School, is sponsored by FBLA, and all the employees who work in the school store are members of FBLA.
Oh, how many members do you have?
33.
33?
Yes.
Oh.
In our chapter.
In your, right, in the Mamaroneck
chapter. We have 33 members.
And then New York State has about 5,500, and over the nation, there's over 250,000 members nationwide.
Really?
It's the biggest business student organization in the United States.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourselves so that everyone at home will know you, and you'll get a tape. Start with you.
Well, my name is Gisela Marroquin, and like Tracy Joe mentioned before, I'm the co-president.
What year are you in?
I'm a senior this year.
And my name is Jacob Morvay. I'm the chapter treasurer, and I'm a junior.
Arpita Patel, I'm the historian, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Lauren Shapiro. I'm the recording secretary, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Jackie Gilpin. I'm the correspondence secretary, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Tracy Joe Figueroa. I'm the co-president, and I'm a senior.
And I'm Glenna Gray, and I'm so glad you came in to talk to us. I'll be looking for you in the New York Times soon.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this new show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC Channel 71.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can. Call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the new show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we can always use some more volunteers. Behind the scenes or as a reporter, maybe you like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we do need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put on this program, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's Hot Dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Amy Schachtel.
And I'm Maura Carlin. We'll see you next week.
And to all the moms out there and all the kids, wish your mom a happy Mother's Day.
Hold off on eating your smoked salmon, it may have been recalled.
Larchmont wants to spruce up the downtown area.
County sales tax is not living up to expectations.
Florence Park is getting a new playground.
The Mamaroneck Village streetscape is underway, and spring hydrant flushing begins as well, so check your water. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News Show for the 3rd week of May 2001. I'm Sven.
And I'm Maura Carlin. Our top story?
The Mamaroneck Village property owners will be happy to hear that the final budget for the next financial year will only increase by 4.89%. The first tentative budget by village manager Michael Blau had projected a 10.6% tax rate increase. The total budget was reduced by almost $350,000 to $19,890,000. Among the changes to the budget proposal are an increase of non-property tax revenues of $425,000. The increase will be achieved by raising fees for dock and mooring spaces in the marina, increasing the costs of parking permits, and boosting fines for parking violations. Mayor Chapin told the Sound in Town report, quote, "This board, together with the Budget Committee and senior management, made an important statement about sound fiscal policy. We have also identified a number of areas we can work on to bring the cost of government down in the future." End of quote.
Mamaroneck wholesaler Portier Fine Foods is recalling packages of smoked salmon that may be contaminated with Listeria bacteria. At issue are La Moray cold salmon trimmings in gold and silver wrapping in quarter-pound, half-pound, and one-pound sizes. The voluntary recall was issued after contamination was found in sampling done by the Federal Food and Drug Administration. The bacteria can cause listeriosis, which results in flu-like symptoms in healthy people, but it can also lead to meningitis and blood poisoning in people with weak immune systems and stillbirths or miscarriages in pregnant women. The smoked salmon should be returned to Portier or call 698-7700. Number again, 698-7700.
The slowing economy seems to be hitting Westchester County too. Sales tax revenue projections for the year based on first quarter performance indicate that the total amount to be collected will be less than anticipated. County officials projected a $400,000 shortfall for the year. For many years, revenue from sales tax collections met or exceeded budgeted amounts. The $400,000 shortfall is small compared to the total volume of collected taxes. In 2000, $256 million were collected. During the first quarter of this year, Westchester County collected $52,600,000. Included in this amount is a one-time payment of approximately $2 million by the state as a reimbursement for an error. The county still believes that there will be a $10 million budget surplus at the end of the year.
Larchmont is considering a spruce-up to its business district. Village officials have before them a plan that would unify the two main shopping areas on Boston Post Road and Palmer Avenue, which are connected by Chatsworth and Larchmont Avenues, by giving them new sidewalks, decorative street lamps, trees, trash cans, and benches, all at a cost of $1.5 million. The idea has generated debate among merchants, officials, and residents about how much work is needed and whether changes really would attract better stores and more shoppers. Of course, there's always the question of how much residents want to spend. Of the $1.5 million price tag, the $500,000 for the sidewalk improvements must, under village law, be paid for by merchants. The rest, though, would be borrowed by the village. The beautification plan will be presented again at a village board meeting on May 21st at 8 p.m. at Larchmont Village Hall.
The Mamaroneck and Portchester Police Departments, in cooperation with the Special Narcotics Unit of the Westchester County District Attorney's Office, were successful in arresting 4 teenagers from Portchester and Rye at the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot on Boston Post Road. Donnell Mapelli, 19, a Portchester resident, was charged with 3rd and 4th degree criminal possession of a controlled substance and 4th degree criminal possession of a weapon. The 3 Rye residents who were also charged faced similar charges. Mamaroneck Town Police Sergeant Jerry McCarthy told the Journal News, quote, "It was an ongoing narcotics investigation. Upon getting search warrants for the suspects and 1 vehicle, we made a series of arrests." End of quote.
A Mamaroneck school board incumbent is having a tough time. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
The Mamaroneck Board Selection Committee has not endorsed an incumbent for school board trustee. A newly formed committee for Mamaroneck schools questions why an experienced trustee was not endorsed. The endorsed candidate has no experience in the schools and no children in the school or any schools. This is the first time in 20 years that an incumbent was not endorsed. The committee would not endorse all three candidates because they believed it would dilute the endorsement process. Election time is May 15th. That's Tuesday. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
It looks like a second winter without tennis in Mamaroneck Village as talks between the village and Harborview Racquet Club broke down. Village attorney Stephen Silverberg informed the club that talks to resolve the dispute over a proposed new $1.9 million indoor tennis and multi-sport center had ended. Last year, the village had picked Long Island-based Sporttime to build and operate the center. Harborview had objected to the plan. State Supreme Court Justice John de Blasi issued a preliminary injunction against the village prohibiting anyone but Harborview to build a new facility. The court stated that the village had violated Harborview's right of exercising its right of first refusal. Both Sporttime and Harborview have now agreed to try to reach a settlement under the direction of State Supreme Court Justice Kenneth Rudolph, who is presiding over the case.
Here with two stories, one on Florence Park and another on hydrant flushing, is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
Attention parents with small children. Florence Park has just renovated its playground to accommodate small children. The new, safer playground should already be up and running. The old playground equipment has already been removed, and by May 14th, the new, safer playground should be completed. In other news, the Westchester Joint Waterworks has begun flushing out the fire hydrants in the village of Mamaroneck. Residents may notice a decrease in water pressure and discolored water running from their faucets. Waterworks crews will be working between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. The discolored water will remain in the pipes for several hours after the flushing is completed. The Westchester Waterworks recommends that residents check their taps before doing any laundry. So we have a new playground for the kids and cleaner water for everyone. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
Larchmont resident Bill Cawley is working hard on finding areas for paralysis. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
A former football and lacrosse player from Mamaroneck High School was paralyzed from a diving accident in 1992. As a result of the injury, Bill Cawley became immobile from the chest down. Although he is characterized as a quadriplegic, he strives to live an independent life. Bill's career has bloomed. He is now an executive vice president of the Career Development and Diversity Department of the leading credit card bank in the United States. In 1998, Bill and a group of friends founded Family and Friends Curing Paralysis. The FFCP is a not-for-profit 501c3 foundation whose goal is to see others suffering from paralysis have the same support system that he benefited from. According to the Sound and Town report, his telephone number is 720-9133. Good luck to you, Bill, and all of your support team. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
The Village of Mamaroneck streetscape renovation is well underway. And here with an update is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
In the village of Mamaroneck, the structural and cosmetic revitalization of the downtown area has begun. The culmination of 5 years of planning has finally happened. Residents will begin to notice the heavy machinery taking up a lot of parking spaces in the village. These machines will be used to rip up the sidewalks, so utility lines such as phone, Con Ed, and cable lines may be placed underground. A new sidewalk will be installed and new trees will be planted. The hope is to tie in downtown with Harbor Island Park and attract more businesses and shoppers to the area. Unfortunately, in any construction project, there are bound to be a few glitches. Residents may remember last week when Con Edison accidentally disconnected 4 Verizon phone lines, and some residents and store owners were without phone lines for a couple of days. Any residents who wish to shop in the village of Mamaroneck should give themselves some extra time because parking will get sparse due to the construction. We will keep you updated on the Village of Mamaroneck streetscape project as the construction progresses. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show, again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week. It's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 71.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can. Call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers either behind the scenes or as a reporter. Or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School building, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we'd love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oheme.
And I'm Maura, Carlin. We'll see you next week.
What held you up tonight?